From Over the Fender Garage. Well, I've got more stuff painted here. I went and got the rear end housing all painted up. Came out looking great. So now we get this installed. Got the center section painted. You ever wonder an easy way of painting the center section? Just stick it in a 5-gallon bucket like that. Works great. Just got to make sure it don't fall down inside of it. But that's a good way to paint one of those. And then I got the bed all bed lined. That ended up looking really good. I didn't think it would look that good, but it does. You can see some of this right here. But that's all right for what I'm going to use it for. It's fine. I got 2 coats of textured undercoat on it. And then I did the bottom with 2 coats of textured. So that should make it last quite a bit longer. And then I did the front of the bed. I also did the quarter panels. I did the inside of the quarter panels. And I did the inside of the bed of the quarter panels. So that should make this last a long time. Shouldn't have any issues with rust for a very long time. So I got them both done. And what I did on the bed sides and the bed back is I thinned out the bed liner and used my primer gun and used that to put this on. So I got a pretty smooth. I didn't want it perfectly smooth, but it's got some stuff in it, some dots and stuff, because I didn't have a filter in the gun. Wasn't looking for perfection in the bed, but it all came out looking really good. And then I shot 2 coats of that thinned out bed liner on top of the texture, and man, that thing just came out looking good. I like it. Really makes the bed look good for, it wasn't real bad, but it was bad enough. I decided not to fix this since I'm going to change it anyway. Use it for what I need to use it for a while and then change this out in a couple of years. But that'll easily get it by. Easy to change out later. So that's a good thing. So a lot of this stuff can go back together. So I'll leave the inside of the bed black. I thought about painting it the same color as the truck, but I think I'll just leave it black. Unless I get it together and I don't like the way it looks, then I'll go ahead and paint it. But stuff came out great. It's extremely hard. So that should last a good long time. But that's all ready to go in now. So we can get over here to the truck. I can get the brakes on the front. I can run all the brake lines, brake hoses, stuff like that. I can get the cab bolted down now. I can get the rear end housing hung. Fuel tank, the reese hitch, the back part of the exhaust system. I need to torque all the suspension pieces. I haven't torqued any of that stuff. I just hung it on there. But now we got a lot to do. We can get the return line for the fuel. We can get the fuel line, the fuel regulator. I could probably stick it up there to do that and then take it back off because I still got to paint the firewall. But once we get everything else done, I mean, we've got a lot that we can get assembled on here. And then we'll get the sand in the firewall. And what I'll do is the firewall, I'll do the door jambs, I'll do the back side of the doors, I'll do the wheel wells, and inside of the fender's got to be done, because on these old C10s you can see this. So I'll paint the inside of the fenders, bottom side of the hood. Being it's going to go a candy color, get all that kind of stuff painted and then hung on the vehicle, and then go ahead and paint the vehicle, you go and tape all this stuff out and then paint the vehicle. So the best way to do a candy is to have the vehicle assembled as much as possible. Because if you were to do 4 coats of candy on it and one piece you accidentally did 5, it'll show. So it's always best to have it assembled as much as possible when you're doing a candy job. So we got lots of work here to do. So let's get on doing some assembly. First thing I need to do is probably hang that rear end. This has all got to go together in a puzzle piece way here. This rear end's got to go in. Let's see. To do the rear end, and then the Reese hitch, then the fuel tank, and then put the exhaust system in above the rear end, and then finish putting the suspension together. That's how it all fits together. The big jigsaw puzzle. It all has to go in a specific way because you can't get the exhaust system up with the suspension hung. So we get on to doing all that stuff, get this whole back end done, brakes on it, all that good stuff. So let's get on doing some assembly. I can't wait to see this thing starting to go together all the way. No more having to take it apart again. So let's get on it. All right, well, now we've got all the suspension bracketry put up in here. Everybody's been tightened and torqued and anti-seized and all that good stuff. I've got it all over me, of course, like always with that stuff. I got my bars ready. I put some anti-seize in the screw thing so they don't get stuck in there, because I'm not sure if they put any in there, so a little extra for extra measure to make sure nothing gets stuck. So now the next thing we need to do is get the axle housing in this hole. Yay! With paint on it, she's gonna be so pretty. I can't put the track bar on because the exhaust system goes over the top of the track bar and then the track bar goes in. So we need to hang the rear end housing and then probably the Reese, then the gas tank, then the exhaust system, something like that. The puzzle pieces will fall where they belong. And then we can get the track bar in and then put the coils on. So let's get that housing hung up in here. Well, we've got the rear end housing hung. We got the diff in, we got the axles in, we got all the bars on. I don't have the upper bars tight yet. I think I got one of the lower bars tight. Still got to tighten that stuff. But fuel tank's in, fuel tank's all tight. We got the springs on, we got the axles in. Everything is working out perfect. The exhaust system, when the other pieces go on, should sit about right there. So it clears everything good. And even if it were to go this way or this way, it would still clear everything good. But everything else is working out perfect. So you get this here. I know that it's going to sit about right there is where it should sit. So it should be good. So now I got to put the sender in the tank still. I have it written down here on my tank, so don't forget. And there's no oil in the rear end, so I've got that written on there. Usually I'll leave an axle tube out and I'll fill it through the axle tube so you don't have to sit underneath it pumping or whatever. So see if I can get some here so I can fill that up. And basically all that's left is brakes to put on it. And I think the back end is done. Get the brakes on it, then we can run the brake lines, run the return line, and back end is just about buttoned up. Awesome. Awesome. Everything's fitting in there great. It's a great thing about doing mock-up is that everything should go back together as it was planned. But hey, I'm happy with it. It's looking great. It's coming out. Be on the floor tomorrow. Can't wait to see her done. Well, we've got the brakes all on it. The back brakes are on it. Diffs all in. All the goodies are hung. I got the front brakes on it. Everything's good to go on that. So what I'm going to do now is, because I got a couple more nice days coming, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the firewall painted. I'm going to get my wheel wells painted. I'm going to do my door jambs on my doors. I'm going to do the back piece of the bed and the inside of the fenders and the hood hinges and the door hinges. Get all this stuff painted up so everything is ready to be hung back on. We get my door jambs here. I gotta take these off. We'll go ahead and knock all this stuff out. I gotta sand it real quick. Give it a nice smooth paint job and get some color on here. That way I can go ahead and get all this stuff back together onto the truck to paint the body itself. And I got to get the engine over here so I can paint the engine. But that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to get on sanding all this stuff and then wrap it all up and get some purtiness on it. All righty, let's get on it. All right, we've got everything wrapped up. I can go ahead and I can spray out all my jams. Get all this stuff done, a nice candy apple red. And I've got the tape pulled back so I can get this whole corner here. And then when I paint the body, I can wet sand up to this and get rid of that line. And then I can tape it back off and paint the outside part. And then when I do the clear coat, I'll have it taped out a little different. So when I go to do the clear coat, I can pull everything off that I don't need and then clear coat all the way in, and that gets rid of that line. And then when I polish it, I can sand out if there's any line left in there. And I've got my brakes and clutch, my steering column, and a couple other pieces that got to go black. So I'll take care of those at the same time. But now we can get all this stuff painted up so we can get this back on the truck, get ready for the engine to be painted and the body to be finished up. So time to get on it, make her look good. Well, we've got this painted. All the jams are done. Look at that wicked color. Whoo! She is gonna be bad. Look at that. Inside of the fender's painted. All came out looking really, really good. And not 100% perfect. But man, definitely gonna stick out in the crowd. Sweet. So now I need to get all this stuff out of here and rehang all this stuff back up on the truck. Oh, it came out looking great. Love it. And that. I do have a boo-boo though. Let's see, right? Oh, damn. Oh, dope. A little bit around there. But that still looks killer. That'll wet sand out. That's the thing with candy. After spraying something for about 6 hours, you get a little tired. Plus I was trying to beat the weather because a cold front came through. I had to get it done before that happened. So it was a long day. But it came out good. I'm happy with it. I think she'll really, really look good when she's together and she's sitting on the ground. So let's get all this stuff out of here so I can get on to the next phase. I'd like to get my engine painted before I put it together so I don't have to wrestle the engine over all this stuff. But I got a few cabinets to paint here. So might be a little hiatus here. I got to paint these and install them. So we'll see. We'll see if there's a little lapse in a couple of videos maybe. Shouldn't be too much. But let's get this stuff all organized and ready to go back on the truck.